going to do is I am going to start with that topic of bleeds and bleed lines and positioning and all that fun stuff. And then I'll just use that file a little bit later on for my save and save as. So let's go ahead and do that. And I today have with me a dog tag. So we are going to use that for this example. All right. So when you open a template in the Sawgrass or in the MySawgrass design tool, and I do want to step back a second. This conversation is not just for people using the MySawgrass design tool. So I'm going to use this to demo, but all of these words I'm going to use in this concept that I'm going to discuss is for everyone. So no matter how you are bringing your files in, if you haven't tuned out yet, don't tune out. This is going to apply to you as well. So the way our design tool works is you're bringing in the product, and your product, you're going to notice, has a red area. I think when a lot of people say they're having sizing issues, this is also part of it, is understanding this whole concept. So everything that is white is going to be your print area. That is the physical dimensions of my dog tag. So the dog tag size, if I were to print from side to side, which looking at this is probably an inch and a quarter. And I love guessing sizes if you haven't figured that out yet. But it is roughly an inch and a quarter across, and that's what that white area is. If I were to fill the white area, that is exactly what area would be filled. That's what you're going to see. Now you're noticing there is this red area, and we're going to call that a bleed. So what a bleed does is it adds area to what prints. So let's say, I should have brought a ruler, so I apologize, that this is an inch and a quarter. You're probably looking at an inch and a half or a little bit bigger is what it's going to print. Now, that bleed area does not go on what you print. So if I were to put Rhodes's face halfway, so half of his face was on the white and half of his face was on the red, whatever's in the red is not going onto the dog tag. Only what is in the white is going to go into the dog tag. But the bleed area is very important, and it's going to be important for a couple of different reasons. The first reason you're going to need that bleed area is if I were not doing a dog tag, if I were doing neoprene, if I were doing a sock, if I were doing a shirt, these are things that get what I call squished in the press, and the area is going to enlarge. So if I were to only cover that inch and a quarter and it were to stretch, then what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with some white area. So the bleed is kind of your safety zone. So if the item were to expand in the press, or stretch in the press, you were still getting all of that area covered. The other thing that can happen is you may not tape it down perfectly. It may shift. So this is going to give you that protection to make sure that if I want this to be solid red with the design on it, that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, the second reason the bleed is going to be important, and this is the reason we're here talking about this, is it helps you with positioning. Another thing that people will often refer to is a bleed line. A bleed line, or you sometimes will hear them called registration marks. Registration marks are really used in cutters and other devices so that the cutter is basically calibrating off of those marks to make sure that it's cutting the right area. But a lot of people use them to help line things up. So a bleed line is going to be a line, a box, corners around your item so that you can position it within that. I will tell you that I use a bleed area the same way you use a bleed line. So there was a bleed line in the Sawgrass print manager. We did not feel that it was a great line. We did not feel that it worked the way it should. It was a little too heavy, and to my liking, it was a little too close to the item. That is sublimation ink. There is a good chance that's going to get on the product. So we made the decision to not include that in the Sawgrass print utility. But there are still things to do to help you. And the first one that I would suggest is fully using that print area and using that bleed area around your design. So let's go ahead and throw something on here. I haven't put a lot of thought into what I'm going to pull, so I'm going to pull something that works. I am doing a full search. We do know full searches are a little slower, but we are working on that, of course. Let's actually go with this because I think this can work for what I'm doing. Okay. So I am going to highlight the whole area. I am going to pull this out so that it does completely cover. And then I'm going to grab this A and the circle. And I'm going to move those down, of course, to get them out of the tag. And down to the middle. Okay, great. So there is my design. It is all lined up. It is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and hit print. Take that into our print utility. All right. I'm just going to give that a second. We're going to hit print on that. Now I am printing from within the design tool in this instance because for now I don't need to save this or do anything else with it. I'm going to talk about that more in a moment. Okay. Okay, we are signed in. If you haven't seen it yet, one of my absolute favorite features is now, depending on what I choose, this is going to show me what the recommended print and press settings are, or the recommended press settings are for my item. I clicked a little too fast there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell this that this is going on to metal. And you're going to see my press settings for metal. Now, again, always, always, always trust what your dealer says first, because ours is just a general setting for metal. It's not specifically off of the product. So if they have settings that are different, go with what they say. But these are general guidelines if you need them. So nothing major here. I'm going to go ahead and print this out of my option tray because that's where my Trupix paper is. And there we go. Now, if you haven't seen it, I do operate with both a regular tray and a option tray. I love this because I have my VersiFlex paper in the top tray. This is a VersiFlex printer. And then in that second tray, I do have my regular Trupix paper. All right. Okay, so here's my design. When I am lining this up, I feel that the extra area helps because I am going to center it. So I have this nice big area that I can center that in, and I can use that for what I need. And I can center that right in the middle. And so for those of you who are looking for a bleed line to help you with centering, the bleed area does just that. Now, you say, Rhonda, you use something that had a template in the program. What if I am not doing that and I am creating from scratch? Well, if you are having to create from scratch and you are doing it that way, let's say you were using custom canvas. When you go into custom canvas, if I were to tell it that this is 1.25 by 5, it then has a bleed, and I'm going to put a 1/4 inch. It's going to put a 1/4 inch on all sides. So whether I am using a shape or whether I am just entering dimensions, you can still include that bleed area here to help you with that. Now, another scenario that you may do is, let's say that you're doing something that's bigger than your area. So I'm just going to go in and use a blank sheet for this particular example. Here's my 8.5 by 11. What I can do on my 8.5 by 11 is I'm going to create a shape. So I'm going to go to my elements. I'm going to go down to my shapes. I'm going to create, let's say I'm doing something that is a circle. I'm going to put my circle there. I'm going to size my circle to be the dimensions plus. I normally go about 1/4 inch on each side. You can do 0.125 as well. It really just depends on how much extra you want. And then of course, if we are talking the rest of the world, that is roughly 4 millimeters. So 4 or 5 millimeters is kind of where you're going to go. All right, so there is my circle. If I did not want to do this as a bleed area, but I wanted to do a bleed line, quite easily, I'm going to come in, I'm going to say none, and now I just have that outline, and I'm going to design within that line, and there is your bleed line, if that is your preferred method of doing this. Now, other tips, I know that Lori Donovan is probably here. One of the things that she has done is put an X above the design, and then that X is kind of that center point. So if you need a little more guidance, if it's something where it's not a full bleed that's going to go all the way to that edge, you could always put an X at the top of the design to kind of help guide you. Again, that would be a situation like this where you're going onto a full page, more so than using a product template. But that, or maybe just a little L or something that you could easily cut off in that bleed area, just to kind of give you some guidance if it's not something that's full bleed. So I hope that helps. I hope that kind of clarifies this concept of using a bleed or a bleed area and lining things up on your page. Rhodes, do we have any questions or comments?
No questions. Lori says you line the X up with the pink dots.
Okay, yeah, so the pink dots on the page, you line the X up and put it there, and then that kind of helps too. So that's the basics of positioning. A little bit of an explanation of why you're not seeing that bleed line, and an explanation of the difference between bleed area and bleed line, because they're a little different what they do.